What's going on, guys? Josh Palet here, and today I got a special guest, my good friend Xavier Barrett, and he's going to tell me about his business. I'm such a supporter of my friends and anybody that's young, really, that wants to start their own business and just take life by the horns, and this guy did it. I'm super proud of him, and I really want to talk about it. So Xavier, Rev Body, how did you start Rev Body?
Rev Body. Well, first of all, thanks for having me on here, man. It's cool to just come together, and just support each other. I see you starting your thing with JP25, and it's just taking off, man. And you've always been good at like commentating. I've seen your little skits on Instagram and stuff. So this is you was practicing for this. So it's cool, man. But I just want to also shout out my partner Oscar Eberly. So Rev Body, it's me and him. We do this together. And how it started, man. I studied kinesiology in San Diego State, so one of the classes and the requirements is I had to be do an internship. So I had to do it at a gym. I had to do like 120 hours or something like that. And then my homie Oscar, he was working at Workout Bar, so I was like, oh yeah, like because I need like a manager. I was like, yeah. I don't know if it would work. Like he's a trainer, And I asked, and we were able to get the paperwork, and we were gonna do it. So I interned at Workout Bar here in Eastlake, and we just started doing group trainings, and we didn't have a name or nothing yet. It was just me and him. Mm-hmm. And we would rent out Workout Bar and do our own thing in it. So we weren't like Oscar was Workout Bar and I was like a sub there, but like we were doing, like I said, we didn't have the name, but we were gaining a following together, You
do group classes, correct?
Yeah, group classes. And then that's how it started. And then we were doing that. We were getting a good following. It was cool, man. And then we were coming together and COVID happened. So yeah, I know we were like, damn, we were starting to do good. We actually just moved to another gym right before COVID. It was CrossFit Chula Vista. So Workout Bar was more like functional training with just like a lot of cardio equipment. Mm-hmm. And CrossFit had like all the squat racks and the heavy stuff, it just added a different kind of style of training and just would help us build our demographic of people. And we went there, COVID happened. I think everyone was kind of like, what's going to happen? Like what's good? The vibes are just thrown off. And then I just had ankle surgery too. So right when I was able to like start driving again, kind of like walk and, just kind of be part of society again.
Yeah.
Then that happened. So it was kind of just a double, like, man, like, I don't know what's going on. Like that affected just the method of income and all that stuff. So I don't know, me and Oscar filed for unemployment. We got
like us all, like we all did.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. And that $600 a week was crazy, man. I'm speaking facts. So yeah. we both got that, and then we just pretty much invested in buying stuff and just built a whole ass gym in his garage. And then
so that's all in his garage.
Yeah, that's all in his garage. And that's people message me like, yo, where's your studio at? Where's this gym at? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'll send the address. I'm like, oh damn, this is like a home or a house.
Dude, it looks like a real ass gym.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. I've never painted before. We painted that, like nice. We built the whole bumpers and all that, and then all the money, we bought all the equipment. And growing up, just being on different AAU teams and just seeing how like training can go to the next level, like we've advanced so much. Mm-hmm. And like I'm mainly speaking about like the Vertimax that we have. So I always envision myself like training with that. I used to train on it. I was like, I loved it. Yeah. And then I was like, yo, we should buy that. And then when we bought that, like, man, a lot of people were just, oh yeah, what's that? And then it's perfect for beginners and experts. It's everything, it's the best. Have you been on one?
I've been on one time.
Nice.
I want to go on again, bro. I should come through.
Dude, yeah, you gotta come through, man. You trust me, Rev Body. But yeah, we bought all the equipment, and then we were thinking of names together, and it was me, him, like his girlfriend Issa, like the different ambassadors we have, and we were just trying to come up with like names, and Rev Body came up, and we wanted something simple but like catchy.
It's catchy, yeah.
Yeah, and I heard it, I was like, okay, yeah, and then we just started using it. It was pretty easy. It was kind of like a day thing, like we already had like our vision together. We just needed like a name, like me and Oscar always wanted a gym and all that, and we were starting to have the clientele to do it. But once the name came together, we just got the website, got the business license, and then nice. Like, man, everything we have in the gym, like we just used all that unemployment money and then just put it together. And Oscar was honestly my mentor in coming into training, and I feel like every trainer has their own method of training and what their programming is and all that. And I'm like to say I've come a long way. I'm very happy with like my my progress as a trainer, and shout out to everyone I've ever trained, you know, that's helped me get better to be a better trainer for you. And it just helps you a lot with just like life as well, man. I feel like I'm like, you know, like when guys get haircuts, like their barber knows everything. Like, you know, like it's cool to just kind of de-stress. And I feel like kind of going back to the whole COVID thing, like life is hard in general, but just when COVID hit, it's just kind of like, you know, it messed up a lot of people's grooves, and it was just able to kind of give an outlet to, you know, to just like kind of keep going, you know, like remember why you started, and like something big happened, but you know, the vision doesn't stop.
So COVID hit when you're doing the group classes, and then you had to pivot and say, okay, we have to do individual training now?
It had to do because just the whole social distancing and all that. So, I mean, it just turned into personal training, which ended up being bigger than we ever could have expected to be this fast. You know, I had to work out at another gym the other day, like, because I didn't even have a time slot to work out at. Yeah,
that's
it's
crazy.
Like,
well, good for you, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man. You just got to start it off with 0 clients, and you just got to work your way up there, you know?
Yeah. So were people skeptical at first to work out during COVID?
That's a good question. In the beginning, I mean, it's not like we had like 40 clients like right away, but like some of the clients we had, it was no, I mean, I would have a mask. So like, let's say even if at worst I had it, you know, like I was wearing the mask, whatever. But I mean, it just became like a numbers game, and like we would get tested too, and then we would take their temperature.
Nice.
Always record the temperature, and then just do everything we could, you know, practice all the social guidelines at the time, you know. And at most it was like me and one person, and then like the way we train, you can bring someone. So at most it's 3 people in this gym. So
okay, so it's not packed out.
Nah.
I'm interested to know how you got so many clients, because I can't get away from Rev Body. When I go on Instagram and I look through my stories or whatever, it's always somebody working out with you, and you're in the garage, which is crazy to me now that it's a garage.
I know,
it looks
man.
like a real gym.
Yeah.
But
I like to call it the hyperbolic time chamber. So you know, real ones know what I'm talking about. You know,
dude, you guys get after it too.
Yeah.
So when I see it, I was like, how does he get so many clients so fast? Because you didn't start that long. It was just during COVID, less than a year. How did you build up your clientele to what it is like now?
Man, it's so. I'd say, like, you know, just to anybody starting a business, you have to add value, you know. Like, I used to train people for free, you know. I had to kind of show, you know, like why they should come with me kind of thing. So it didn't happen overnight. So like I said, that whole period, even before COVID, me and Oscar were gaining a following. And then once I went to personal training, I feel like we had like, I had the training, the experience, mainly the confidence, you know, to be able to just like, hey, like, you should try this out. And social media is powerful, man. Like, there's a lot of negativity on it and bad things, but from a business standpoint, it's like one person shouts it out, and it's like, oh, you know, that look cool, or they're going, or oh, damn, she's looking good. I see the results, you know. And at the end of the day, I want to produce results and have like a good time doing it. And in that sense, it's like people are like, oh yeah, like if they get hit with the DM, let's say I trained you and you posted it, oh, here, and someone replies, oh, where's that at? Oh, you know, it's so and so, but I love it, dude. Like, you know, you're just talking good. It's just you know, when you add something of value and it works, it's gonna do the work itself.
Hell yeah. So when I see people working out with you, is just girls at first, or was it guys also?
So I love that point. So yeah, dude, we have a lot of girls, man, but girls, like, they're more accepting of help, you know. Like, guys, it's an ego thing. Guys,
they're more
it's
coachable.
Like, yeah, for sure. So it's guys, it's like, oh, I could do that myself, you know. And then like,
guys are
I've done a lot of humbling to people, you know. They come in and do like the workouts, and it's like, so when I did the group classes, it's like I would have an exercise and I would add different variations. So you can do the class with like your mom if you wanted to, but it was like she did the level 1 and you did like the beast mode or whatever the most difficult variation of that exercise is. So yeah, when guys started coming in, Eddie Campaign, you know, shout out Eddie. He came in and was in the beginning, and he was like one of the only dudes, dude. And you know what's funny? Eddie came, and there was like 3 people in my group classes, like when it first started, you know. And then he was there to when it started getting like 20 and then packed and all that. But yeah, he was one of the only dudes, and it was just like, I'm sure you could ask him, like, when he gets on, it was a good one, and it's a lot of it's working out. Ass, yeah, for sure. It was like, and but it kicks everyone's because it's meant to just like you go. It's mainly time intervals, so you have to like go as hard as you can. You know, you'll get as good as a workout as you put into it. You know,
it's not
like,
CrossFit, right? It's weight training as well.
It's like, well, now that I'm in the gym now, we have more like squat racks and heavier weights. So I'd say it's a mixture of both. But I mean, at the end of the day, they're just different exercises to be able to just challenge you to be your best.
So do you have like nutritional plans as well? Because I've spoken to girls that say not only is it a workout, but you actually make them like meal plans and you actually track like their health, not just their weightlifting and stuff like that. Exactly.
So I mean, everything included in it is you know, the actual like programming, and everyone's programming is different. You know, everyone has different goals. You know, some want to gain weight, lose weight, want to focus on a certain body part, like whatever. So it's like special programming for you. And then you know, diet is important, and it's my job to help coach you on it. When you come work out with me, yeah, you're going to get it in. Like, you're going to burn calories, you know, you're going to get stronger. But if you go home and eat like 10 cheeseburgers or something, it's like you're not fueling your body to really reap the results of your hard work, you know. Just like, so I mean, and I've seen it in myself. I've someone that I was kind of fortunate to just be able to eat with whatever I want, you know, and I would have abs naturally, you know. And the whole stereotype,
I hate
like
people like you.
I was about to say the whole stereotype, like, oh, you're black, you know, you're just like, you know, you're just shredded like that out the womb. But no, I mean, yeah, some parts are genetic, but like, dude, I'm more ripped than I've ever been, mainly because what I coach is like what I do to myself, you know. And it's crazy to see the changes. And it's like, why work so hard? And you know, it's like a lot of people hate doing legs or just doing certain different exercises that hurt so bad. Like, why do you go through so much pain and then just to not like fuel yourself to get ready for battle to go into it the next time, you know? So, you know, going back to your question, like as far as the meal plans, yeah, we have a nutritionist on the team that does personal meal plans. And then for us, we give you guys like a lot of guidelines, and we just try to make it as not try to like make money out of people, you know. Like, I'm like, yo, let me just put you on game and just like, yo, you should do this or eat this and have this flyer. This really helped me, you know. I don't really need to charge someone for
people
that.
that I've spoken to said they can't believe how cheap it is for how much work you do for them. Do you believe that you're not in this for the money, you're in this for just helping people, for helping people?
Damn, that means a lot though that they said that, because it's like, when I first started, it's like, man, how do you really equate your time for an hour, you know? So I was like, all right, like, I'm just starting out, what do I even charge, you know? And like, I would charge half of what I charge now, and when I first started, and there was never a problem. And then once you talk to anybody in business, like barbers or anything, any kind of like service where you gotta like start charging more, it's like, man, like, you get to a point where your experience and the people who are really like appreciate your service, like, it's like, yeah, you know, like, of course. And the fact that you're saying that people say that, it's like, man, like, that means like I succeeded, you know, what I was like my time, because, you know, I worked at Chick-fil-A when I first started, and $8 an hour, I was like, man, my time an hour isn't $8, you know. So
hell no, especially at Chick-fil-A.
I know. I mean, Chick-fil-A is crazy.
What motivates you to help people out? Because you told me before you're not a morning person, but yet you're working people out at 5 in the morning, you said. So what motivates you to get up at, you know, early as hell to work people out? Yeah,
so 5 in the morning sometimes, a lot. Like, I was so when after I had surgery, man, my sleeping schedule, I wake up at like 1. Like, I was just, I don't know, I was like a bum. But man, I just was like, you got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. Like, I was like, man, I didn't really want to wake up that early, but, you know, like, I had to. And like, going back to the whole clients, is like, we got so packed, that's the only way I can even fit someone in there, you know. So I was like, you know what, let me just do it, get out of my comfort zone. And then when I did it, it was just like, I was just subconsciously just working harder. Just when you're up early, you're just able to do more things. Like, it's just a fact. Like,
successful people wake up early.
Literally, I used to see that all the time. And then when you actually be doing it, it's like on a Sunday, like, which is my only off day, well, at least from training, I still wake up, like, I'm just like, I'm wired to just wake up that early, you know. So it's crazy, man. And then obviously, if I got nothing to do, I'll just go back to sleep. But like, which is rare. But like, yeah, it just wired me to get up early, and it just motivated me just become better, man. Because like I said, the whole surgery thing, and then to get hit with COVID after, and just, you know, I don't want to say your average, but like, I think like every other 25, 26, 27, like, what am I going to do with my life? You know, like,
so what's your end goal with this? I mean, I see you're working out from 5 in the morning till you just got off right now, 8:30. So what's your end goal? Are you going to be so big that you can't work out in the garage anymore? Are you guys going to get your own gym? What's the goal for you guys?
End goal, man, that's big. I'd say I'm going to focus on the next goal right now, which is we already are in the process of getting our own facility.
Nice.
By Lolita's, actually. And, over there, you know, that shop.
It's gonna be strictly Rev Body.
So it's a big facility, and we have a room in it. But I mean, it'll say like Rev Body, like in the mirrors and stuff. Like, you know, It's an actual suite. I mean, we've been having people park like in the townhomes, and it's like you can only park a certain time, you know, just all those little hassles and just like the neighbors and kind of thing. So to finally have our own facility, and then you know, we're going to monitor the COVID guidelines, but hopefully to bring group training back. And then the end goal, I mean, it's just to build that facility up, and then to be able to have personal training, group training. And then we used to have online programs, and then the gyms are shut down. So, I mean, we'd bring that back up. But at the end of the day, just to be able to help as many people as we can, because the end goal goes into like what our vision and like what motivates us is, man, confidence is crazy. And a lot of people, I don't want to say don't have it, but are like kind of encouraged not to have it, or just be jealous, or
people hate on each other.
Yeah, you know. And then just people need to be reminded that like you're in this, you're your biggest like critic, you're your biggest like look in the mirror, and I want you to be proud to post that. And like little things, like let's say I train a girl, and this is a true story. I trained a girl, she followed me on Instagram, she didn't post for like 3 years or something like that, and then I start seeing her start to post more, her stories, and it's just showing how much more confident she is in herself, you know. And then she ends up posting a story about how like we brought out her confidence, and it's a cool thing. Yeah, it's a cool thing to have, man, and not on some like cheesy thing, man, because it's like obviously I got to make a living too. So, you know, I like to it's where like passion meets, you know, paying the bills and stuff. So it's at least I get to have a helping hand in someone's journey to be better, because I wouldn't say like for me it's my body that I've ever had like not confident in, but like I've been not confident in other areas, and it's just I understand what it feels like. Everyone is human, you know, whether some people want to make it seem like they're all that or whatever. It's like, you know, we're at that age, like, come on, bro, let's be real. And it's just like we all have slumps. I don't know, you and a relationship ends, and then you just start like it's a physical side to it, you know. So like working out, you know, it's just it releases dopamine too. And like I said, I'm kind of like people's therapist in a way, and it's cool to just have ever since I was young, I loved like talking to people and just hearing other people's like perspectives. You always were like that. Yeah, and I grew up just like, I feel that's a part of like how I grew up, because I'm mixed. Like my dad is just full African American, and then my mom's full Hispanic. So from the get go, it's just two different like point of views and like thoughts and beliefs, and just like it's at the end of the day, it's like, man, let's all just be good to people, and like let's just bring the best out of each other. And I feel like me helping train people does that.
All right, man, let's change it up. For me, I get to talk about dating on the show and sports with my dad and like some pop culture stuff. I have not had the opportunity to talk about Black Lives Matter, and it's something I've really wanted to talk about, and I think you're a great person to talk about this about. I'm full white, if you can't tell already. Xavier's mixed. He's African American, and I think it's interesting because for me, I don't experience the type of discrimination that Xavier's experienced, and he hasn't experienced what I experienced, which is basically nothing because I'm white. And I just want to know, for you, for being an African American in the United States, how has, you know, being discriminated against just for being black affected you?
I mean, like you brought up that I'm mixed. So like, you know, growing up, yeah, I'm not full, but I mean, just literally the color of my skin. Yeah. I'm not like going to make it seem like I was like, you know, it's not like Georgia in like the 60s and stuff, but like, you know, growing up in like Eastlake and all that. But yeah, there's been a few times where, you know, like I used to wear my hood a lot too. So it was just, man, I would always get a lot of stuff like that. And like, I remember literally calling out my teacher one time saying like that, like this white kid, you never ask him to take off his hood and stuff. Wow. And like, she would just like, she never had a response for that. And it was just.
Was that in high school?
No, I was in elementary school, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, I don't know, man. I feel like, let's be real, like the way this country started, literally because of the color of our skin, we were at a disadvantage, and that's just like a fact that, you know, it's uncomfortable to talk about, but like, you know, let's be real, that's where it started from. So a whole Black Lives Matter, it's crazy how it's controversial as it is, because I feel like the statement Black Lives Matter, again, going back to like what I said, at one point Black lives truly just didn't matter, and then lately there's just been so many instances, like, man, like our grandparents were in protest for certain things, and it's like it's the same thing happening, you know. Like I would see protests with older people putting signs saying like, I can't believe I'm still protesting this shit. It's like, man, like how many colored people have to be discriminated and have all these crazy cases? And if it wasn't for, I mean, I guess good thing social media and all the cameras and things coming out to show that, you know, racism is still here. It just wasn't like documented and all that. So it's just crazy, man. It affects us in different ways, because let's say if we're playing basketball, like, yeah, my skin color, pick the black guy, you know. So obviously it has like some pros and cons to it, but I mean the cons shouldn't escalate to someone losing their life over
the cons far
color.
away the pros for me. I mean, being good at basketball and getting shot at for being black is just ridiculous.
Exactly. So
I mean, I think things haven't changed much since you alluded to, since the 60s and even later than that, man. The 70s, 80s, people were getting like lynched in the South, which is crazy to me. I went to Alabama. And people are still like that.
You see, so that's crazy that you can talk about that. Like, you know, anyone watching the show, like, you know, obviously a lot of people know us from San Diego, so it's not as bad. It's not as bad, you know, and all the video footage we see, I wouldn't say we see a lot of that over here, and we're much more diverse, and we're right next to Mexico, a whole different country. So it's crazy, man, that you went to Alabama and were able to see that, because that's all the stuff we would see in our history books, and just like, you know Martin Luther King and all Georgia and all those states over there. That's like, man, it's
still going down, bro.
It's still going down, man.
Yeah.
I saw this crazy fact that there were still a couple of high schools that there was segregation for like proms and stuff. Or like a few years ago, I think it was in Atlanta. It was like they finally said no, and it's like, bro, it was like 2015 or something. Like that's so crazy. And you know, we've done a lot of progress, but at what cost? You know, like people that stood up for it, like murdered, like Malcolm X, Martin Luther King. Like people had to lose their lives to just really get all humans to realize that, yes, all lives matter, but all lives don't matter until Black lives matter.
Which is crazy to me. Like, people lost their lives over wanting equality.
Exactly. Like I feel like people are lucky that Black African Americans want equality and not like revenge. You know what I mean? Like all the setbacks and obstacles that like people like my dad really had to face. And dude, my dad experienced racism like crazy. Like, as I told you earlier, like my dad's grandpa was a slave. So the fact that he's my dad, you know, someone living in this world right now, and he had someone raise him that was a slave, you know, and that's completely wrong. You know, we would read that stuff in the textbooks and just like, yo, how did that even happen? You know, like, that's real. That's crazy. And we're not too far off from that. So it's not too much like the whole topic of like systemic racism, and that's pretty much like what Black Lives Matter is just trying to like point out. And, you know, in addition to just saying that our lives matter, but it's just like, yo, we got to address the problems that are clearly making Black people at a disadvantage. And I don't know, man, this whole is crazy. Right? Like it's a whole.
The thing that bothers me the most is like when Colin Kaepernick kneeled, people were saying
hating. I just hate how they try to twist it and to make it something else. Like all of a sudden he's kneeling, and how more peaceful can you get with that? And then they just want to make it about the military. And my dad was in the military. It was never about the military. My dad's Black and did 20 years in the military. You know, so like I have a lot of credibility to kind of talk about that, because like with any argument, you need both sides of the story, and you need to be as unbiased as possible. You know, like take the feelings out of it. And I feel like that's why, you know, I look at this whole situation different than you would if you haven't experienced it. Like I said, just that little story I told you about earlier with the teacher. And I've had another one when I was 8. And I went to
young incidents.
Yeah, it was crazy. And when it happens to you younger, it's even worse, because as a young kid and you're innocent, I never looked at a white kid like, you know, until you start like reading like, oh damn, why did white people do this to Black? Like as a kid, have you ever seen that video on like TikTok or Instagram, and it's like this little white baby and running up to a Black baby and they're like friends?
Yeah, I love that video.
Yeah, that's what humanity is.
That's what it should be.
That's what Black Lives Matter, I feel like, is really trying to say. Like, look, like Black Lives Matter, you know, and just as much as any other race out there and stuff. So damn, I lost my train of thought.
No, you're saying that it happened to you when you were younger. You had another story.
I went to get a cart. We were at Henry's before it was Sprouts, and I went with my mom. And it's always funny because my mom is like this little Hispanic lady, and I'm just this little Black kid. Like it's always kind of funny, but like people would literally look at us like, what the heck. But I went to go get a cart, and this little white girl came, and we got the same cart at the same time, and I let her have it. And then she's like, oh, thank you. Like, we were being so nice to each other. And then her mom just grabs her all mad, and she's like, honey, we don't talk to people of their kind. Like, just
what the hell? Was that in Chula Vista?
Yeah, it was in Bonita, like where Henry's used to be. Like, I think it's like the Dollar Tree or something.
You don't see that here that often.
Yeah, and I was so young. I remember going to my mom like, what the heck? Like, that's so crazy. And then I don't know. My dad's told me countless stories about that, but I mean,
your dad being full Black, maybe he gets it worse, and he's older.
the whole older part is the worst thing, because I think it was just clearly still just like a grueling process. Like segregation was literally legal, you know. Jim Crow laws, like when my dad was like growing up and stuff. So it was literally.
Is he from San Diego?
No, he's from North Carolina. So,
oh, bro.
You know what I mean? So yeah. So it was just a whole different, like, he had to really just adjust. And it's crazy to me to like grow up, and I just always kind of trip out and think like Martin Luther King's or Malcolm X's like position. It's like, man, like, you know what you're fighting for is right, and it's crazy how some people don't see that, and just to just like lose your life. And it's so unfortunate just for like such a common thing that we're all human, like we're all gonna die.
Not
like,
asking for much.
You know, we're all equal. Like life is already hard enough as it is. Like, you know, just.
Does it make it hard for you? It makes it hard for you when you look on Facebook or like Instagram or whatever, and you see people that of the opposite political party. You be any political party you want, do what you want to do, but when it turns into a racial thing where like I don't look at Xavier or anybody that's black as equal to me, I mean, I got an issue with that, bro. I see it. I see the people I know all the time.
Yeah, that's just straight ignorant, though.
Right?
Yeah, man, and it's so crazy. Have you ever seen? What is it called? It's on Netflix. It's about like your phones and the AI.
I haven't seen
social media. Oh, but it shows. It's so crazy, and it shows how, like, let's say if I typed in Black Lives Matter over here, it would say different results. Like, let's say someone in like Alabama did it. It's like Black Lives Matters looting, or it's like, you know, the autocorrect. Like, it's literally just like a media thing, and it's like what you see, you know. And it's so many fake news, and obviously some people like for me on my timeline, honestly, I see a black dude getting shot like every day. So it's like,
really,
yeah, like it's. But the people I follow, it's like, I'm sure they just like whatever they follow the news, and it's like, you know, it's targeted. So obviously we're only seeing one side, you know, like, yes,
crazy. That's really interesting.
Yeah, it's not like all cops are bad, obviously, and it's. But then like on my timeline, I see like obviously some like good cops. Like you see the one like a cop pulling over playing basketball at something.
Yeah,
that's
the best.
Yeah, you know, those are the best, and it's cool. But it's just at the end of the day, it's like what you see, and like going back to the two sides, it's like. Man, some people see that, oh, Black Lives Matter, they're looting, blah, 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 you know, like, what the hell, like, Black Lives or whatever, and then just different other things, like, we're seeing, it's like, oh, no, like, what the heck, this is happening, whatever, and I don't know, it's
Does it bother you that looting got taken way too seriously?
Yeah, because there was so much, like, video footage of just people who aren't even black that were, like,
there's white people
mostly. And then it's like, okay, let's say if a white person does it, then during, like, a Black Lives Matter, like, protest or whatever, that doesn't... You want to associate that and then blame, like, have the black people, like, what the cause they're fighting for, turn it in from something positive into something negative, and now they're the blame for something,
which is ridiculous.
And it's just almost furthering what they were trying to protest about, like, you know, just like, you know, Black Lives Matter, like, we want equality, and then it's just like, oh, like, somehow it's like what they want is not invalid. It's like, now it makes other people angry.
The narrative,
and the narrative, man, and it's crazy, man.
So you did something really interesting to me. I didn't know what Juneteenth was until you had
a lot of people did it, man.
Yeah, so can you tell the people out there what Juneteenth is and the event that you held?
Yeah, so Juneteenth was supposed to be the celebration of the ending of slavery, which if you really go and get educated about, like, that wasn't the actual, like, that's when they were supposed to be, but I mean, it still happened, you know. Mm-hmm. And then it's just pretty much celebrating, like, freedom, man. And it's like a lot of people didn't even know Juneteenth, what it was. And obviously with everything going on, it was even more prevalent this year. It's actually in the in your calendars, like, it's in there, but it's not celebrated.
I had no idea till this year, to be honest. Because it was everywhere this year.
Yeah, everywhere. Reason. And I'm sure it's going to be like from
going forward, hopefully.
Yeah, I think they were trying to make it like a paid holiday or something, but, you know, baby steps, whatever. But, yeah, we just wanted to bring people together, you know, all lives, you know, all races to come and just celebrate that, you know, like, we've come a long way. Like, if we had this party years ago, I wouldn't be able to party with a lot of the people in that audience that were a different color of me. And it was celebrating all the progress that we've done, but just also coming together. And we had posters on all the trees and really just educating people on what it is and educating people on how we can really appreciate how far we've come, but also get uncomfortable knowing that there's a lot of things that need to be done still, you know, and we're the generation that we can, like, propel this movement even further and kind of finish what the previous generation started.
What motivated you to have an event?
Honestly, dude, it was a 1 week thing, dude. It was coming up, and I was just like, yo, I think we should have something. And I don't have a big platform, but the platform I have with Rev Body, I wanted to just kind of, you know, help out. And I ran into this one dude at the farmer's market, and he was telling me how he's a South African,
Mm-hmm.
African dude, and then he has like his own food. He does like pop-up tents, and I was like, yo, you should cater at the thing, you know, because I wanted to help small businesses as well.
That's awesome.
You know, and primarily black-owned businesses, just with everything going on, and we were able to get them, and they had vegan food and all that. And it was just about just like helping people come together, like I said, to educate them, but also like help get like put that black-owned business on. And you know, I'm a black-owned business with like Rev Body. And just to have a good time, because I was like low-key in the middle of COVID. I think it was starting to get a little better. That's why a lot of people didn't show, even though it was still a great turnout. And I tried to make it as safe as possible. We had masks there, like a washing like a portable like hand sanitizing station. And to see the turnout that it did in such a crazy time, I mean, it was, at the end of the day, it was just trying to bring light in a dark time.
I really appreciate you doing it. Are you going to maybe do that going forward too?
Dude, I honestly want to make that a once-a-year thing.
I would love to be a part of it, JP25 Media, man.
Dude,
We're going to have some like live podcasts there.
Hell yeah, man. Let's do it, man. I really think it was such a big turnout already, and it's just a good time for people to come together. It's just good food. There was dances. Like I said, all the posters we had about educating. We had other black-owned businesses selling like their jewelry and like where their heritage is, and it was cool, man.
That's awesome. I also want to thank you for you did something special for me last year. As all of you know, my brother passed away, and Xavier, I don't even know. Do you even know my brother?
Dude, I unfortunately, like right before he passed, like we literally were like kicking it. Like I was with him a couple of days, and that was probably the first time I ever like hung out with him, which is pretty crazy. And we would talk about, like, my last conversation with him, and I'm pretty sure I told you this, was like we were talking about anxiety.
Dude, I don't remember this.
Yeah, well, yeah, and we were talking about anxiety and all that, and we were just like, man, like it's
anxiety.
Yeah, and I would tell him like, yo, dude, I do too, and don't let other people try to front like they don't have it either. And not that it matters that other people have it too, but it's like, don't like, oh, why don't they have it, or am I weird, or you know, don't feel like bad about it, you know, like. And we were just, he was very positive, you know, and I really think if like he were like to continue, it was just he would really use that like feeling he had. It like, I remember you said he wanted to be a comedian, or your dad, on the last podcast, and I really think that he would have used that platform to really speak on mental health disorders.
He was supposed to speak at a suicide prevention walk the week before he died.
Wow.
You know, he was making steps in the right direction.
And dude, that's what I got in the conversation we had, and it was cool, man. It was really good.
I'm really glad you had that experience with him, man, because most people, or not most people, but a lot of people now don't know him at all.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad you did that. But like I was saying, Xavier, he didn't have to do this. He went out of his way. He made a basketball league, or he made a basketball team in a men's league, and he named it Team Jake after my brother. And I like, forever, bro, like I thank you for that. Like,
oh yeah, bro,
I'm getting a little bit emotional, but you did that for my brother, and we won the championship on a game-winning shot by Greg, who I love. Greg, he was not our best three-point shooter, and he made the game-winning shot, dude. Cold-blooded.
Hey, counts ice in his veins,
dude. Absolutely, Greg's a man, and he won it for Team Jake, bro, against a team that we were probably supposed to lose to. You know,
were like, you know, the defending champions. Like, it was like equivalent to like we were like the Heat and they were like the Lakers.
100%, bro.
Like,
really,
dude, not supposed to win that.
Yeah, but dude, I just want to thank you for being the great person you are, for doing that for my brother, for starting a business at such a young age, bro, and like killing it. Like you're working from 5 a.m. till nighttime every day, except on Sundays. And this is the man, and I just want to thank him for coming on JP25 Media and expressing positivity and being the person that he is, bro. I thank you.
I appreciate you, man, and everybody watching this, and I hope you were able to take something of value of this. Like I said, thank you for having me on here, and I hope to be back on it when you're like millions of followers deep, man. This is just the beginning, man. Keep going.